Check, Mike. Hey, there it is. Well then, thanks everybody for watching. Let's restart this intro slightly to make sure that you can actually hear what I'm saying. My name is Blaine, joined with Rod Weston. We are here tonight at the Moboil 10 Racing League here inside of probably one of the best simulators ever. NASCAR Racing 2003 season. Rod, how you been, buddy? Check out the website, by the way, tarnationtv.com. There it is.
I'm doing great, surviving the winter. Just waiting for summer to get over so I can get back to doing my real racing thing. But I'm glad to be back. We did a couple of exhibition races with these guys at the end of the year last year. They're a really good group, so I'm glad to come back and do one for them again.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun tonight. We are at Kansas, the Safer Barrier Project version of Kansas. So we've got a little less racing service and a little more styrofoam on the walls. But this is it's always cool to see the modifications that these guys can do to the tracks. Of course, we'll talk a little bit about the track in a bit. This is the finale of segment number 1A in a massive season that Toby Roberson has going on here at Moboil 10. And it's kind of cool, like little seasons within seasons. Stay tuned, of course. We'll talk to him before the race starts to, so he can fill you in on how that all works. But should be a lot of fun tonight. We've got about 15 or so guys logged in right now, I do believe. They are out there now practicing. And yeah, sorry for the microphone problems at the start, but at least I was paying attention. I've done entire broadcasts with no microphone until I go back and watch it after. People are in the chat going, why is it so quiet? Yeah, that happens sometimes, technical difficulties, but we try to pretend we're professional. But
that's a pretty quiet broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a one guy talking the whole time. There's a whole bunch of numbers on the screen right now. Don't panic. This is the current statistics after 7 races here at the Moboil 10 series. This is the finale of segment 1A. So this is race number 8. As you can see there on the far right, Greg Lovell, 299 points. Followed by Denny Carroll, Toby Roberson, Bobby Farrell, and Randy Waugh. Those are your top 5. And of course, the rest of your names and far more stats, laps led. This is a pretty crazy stats sheet. They got some cool extra little columns in here that the export. Does the export spit this out after every race from the game?
You can.
Yeah.
It depends on how you can set them up to do that. Yeah, you can have it. You can actually have it set up so that when you get done, it automatically saves the export, so that you don't have to worry about it. We've seen people have the race gets over and gets done, and then the server crashes or shuts the system down, and people have lost it.
Yeah. The extra stats, like where does that stuff come from? I guess it's just running percentages and stuff.
Some of the RPM stuff. Now, I don't know about the new one. I do remember when I had my own server, which was under an RPM, the Race Points Manager, but yeah, RLM Arena, and they had some change settings in there that you could set, and it would give you, a lot more of the stats and whatever the people are doing, and it's a pretty cool program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the amount of stats, like even from a game that came out in 2003, all the telemetry you can pull out of there, it's a physics-based game. It's a simulator, so all that information is there. And over the years, the fans have been able to, dissect it and be able to pull that information. Even running a replay through the analyzer and seeing how many times you changed tires. All that information's there somewhere. So it's very cool, and it makes the stat tracking has just evolved over the years. It's pretty awesome to see.
As I've told you, I raced the league that actually I ran that league back in the day, and then when I kind of got to the point where I was, I didn't want to do it no more, I handed it over to a buddy of mine, and they actually use the replay analyzer in a different way, but it also creates it so that while it's hooked up to their server while it's racing, so that replay analyzer is actually running and clearing black flags and doing stuff. It's an admin's dream.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, it's a great thing. I told him, I said, you realize you could sell this and you could do really, really good with it. And he was like, yeah, then I'd have to support it.
That's the thing. You have to have a tech support team answering telephones. It's like the guy figured out how to make replay analyzer run in real time.
Yep.
And assist the admins in running very specific things inside a race. And it's like, yeah, no, I'll just keep it for myself.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. It is very, very cool what they have done with it and how it's set up. And like I said, it's an admin's dream. You show up, you don't ever have to turn the server on. It does it automatically by the website. Once it's up and running, the replay analyzer goes through, and it's you get out there. Let's say you and I are both out on the track. I go out and I turn the fastest lap. It posts it across the message board on the top. You come out and you turn a faster lap than I did, it'll post it up on the message board.
Wow.
If you go a lap down, it'll post that you went a lap down. If you get that lap back, it'll post. I mean, there's so much information that program uses. And like I said, I just wish he would sell it out to people because he could really do well with it.
That's wild. Yeah. The fact that he keeps that a secret is mind-boggling.
I think they started it that way only for one thing. Yes, it's support. But if you do remember, when this game kind of came to a close, only because EA Sports had bought out the rights to NASCAR, so they no longer could create the game, and so they come out with an outfit called Project Wirefile that actually improved the game, which gave us the ability to add mods and gave the ability to add where people have gone in and made very, very cool mods, or basically series, as you want to call it. And so a lot of people did some of that stuff, but they stepped over a little bit of a boundary. So a lot of people out there are a little gun shy about doing stuff with it. I think now, I don't think they would complain so much, but back in the day, a lot of people got in trouble by doing mods and stuff. So
yeah, I remember. Yeah, because if you modify the executable, that's actually not illegal. You can't legally do that.
Right.
But either way, yeah, it's thank goodness this game's still around. We love it. Some questions in the chat. Some questions in the chat there for you, Rod. Noah Wright asks, "What real racing thing is it that you do?" Explain yourself, Sir Weston.
I race go-karts at a local track around here. My teammate Josie and I race, and her mom Sonia Cross and Josie Cross. We have a great time, and it's a lot of fun. I've raced all my life. When I was 18 years old, 16 really, going to the local track, and said one of these days I'm going to be down there, and I spent a few laps down there too. Been to a lot of local tracks up here. Had a fairly successful career in it. No championships yet.
And all of that without the use of your legs.
Yes. And as anybody out there that doesn't know me, I am a paraplegic. I design my own hand controls, and like I said, have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, the stuff, like you've sent me pictures of like your garage, which in the wintertime is your living room. You've got like full-blown go-karts like on the kitchen table. And these things aren't small. Like they literally are the size of like a minivan. Like they
big. Are 8 feet long.
Yeah.
8 feet long, and they can be no lot wider than 50 inches.
Oh, geez.
And
okay.
So mine is 49 and a half.
Oh, of course. Yeah. 100%.
Of course. Yeah. I've pushed everything right to the limit.
Yeah. Well, that's why they have limits, right? The limits are meant to be pushed, and the guys will be like, yeah, no, it's totally spec'd out. Perfect. Measure it.
Well, that's the thing about our division that is a little bit different, is it's a spec cart. So.
Oh, okay.
You can't really do too much with it.
Right now, you're seeing on your screen, you're just seeing practice. They're getting ready to go into qualifying here shortly.
Yeah, we're gonna bring Toby Robertson down. He is basically the head admin here. He's gonna tell us a little bit more about that, the seasons and how it goes and whatnot, because we don't have all the answers on it. But tonight we are at Kansas, like he said, Safer Barrier Project. Kind of a tire eater, so it'll be interesting to see. I think you see just about everybody's going to pit when they get a chance.
Right. Have you had a chance to get out there and run with these guys a little bit, or?
I did not tonight. No, my wheel's not hooked up. I was kind of busy with some other projects around the house.
Oh, okay.
I was currently building earlier. I was building I'm making a new cart stand in my living room. Yes,
Of course. We wouldn't have it any other way.
The thing of it is, the great thing, there's only 2 go-karts in the living room right now. My cart is down in Connecticut getting a new body put on it.
You actually shipped them out?
There's a guy that Steve Litwin that helps us all out a lot, and he builds our bodies for us, and he does a phenomenal work. And you know, I had the opportunity. My friend Sonia was going down to pick up her daughters, and said, "I'll bring yours down if he wants it down there." And I said, "Hey, I'll bring it down, have it sent down." And he's like, "Hell yeah!" So it went down there, and it's going to be really nice when it gets done. I've seen pictures. Now the boys are out there qualifying. Can't give you all the specs on that yet.
Yeah, they just started qualifying, so I was making sure I retired my car. And as broadcasters, we could race, but it would be kind of tough.
Well, we'd have to turn the noise down, then you can't hear the motor, and then like that.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing.
It's a whole thing.
Looks like Noah Wright in the YouTube chat too. He races karts as well.
Oh, very cool.
On dirt, won a championship in 2011 and 2022. That's crazy. So they do dirt tracking too.
Yep. So they take. It's really cool. Some of the dirt tracks actually run a dirt tire, and some of them actually run slicks.
So it's basically like you're running like the Outlaws, like those sprint cars and stuff.
What we kind of run, yeah. They do. Most of the guys on dirt. There's a few different series of kind of karting. Most of them out there run like what they call flat karts. There's no roll cage, nothing above it. But they do have some different ones out there that run wings and stuff like that.
Right. On screen right now, I'm showing some information about the track we're running at tonight. This is Kansas, but it has been modified from the one that launched with the game. This is the Safer Barrier Project, so that's what Kansas SBP means. This specific version of the track was released in 2008. It's a speedway. It's 1.5 miles in length. Track development, Safer Barrier Project. Members, Last Lap, Alan Ebert, Ian Smith, and James 76. Ian Smith, of course, Smithstead.
I raced Alan Ebert.
One of the, guys in the community who's been around forever. And, you have Alan Ebert?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah. And James 76, that guy's a legend when it comes to tracks as well. I've heard a lot of those names have popped up. Of course, tonight's race, we got 114 laps we're going to do this evening. We are running the DMR Cup 12 mod from DesmondRacing.com. Moderate damage, cautions, flags are on. And the setup, of course, is fixed. They've already done the drivers' meeting. They're in qualifying right now. We should be going green shortly, probably, I'm thinking, in about the next 10 minutes or so. They had it scheduled for about 9 o'clock, but with drivers' meetings, sometimes it can be a little bit different. But, again, thanks for watching live. If you are, in fact, watching live, Toby Roberson is in the booth. Toby, good evening, sir.
Hello, guys.
We brought you up here so you can explain a little bit about the kind of the short series and stuff that you're doing, and kind of explain to the people out there so they can get an idea of how your point system and whatnot works.
Yeah, sure thing. Break it down. Basically, we do a 48 race season. So almost every week we're racing, and that's for the yearly points. So for this year, it's 2025 champion. Every 8 races, we have a segment. So we're on our 8th race here. Final race of the segment for the segment championship. It's just a good way to, you can race for a nice segment winner title, something smaller while you're going through the year and racing for that year-long championship. Something that we're trying out, and I think it's going pretty well so far. So next week, the points reset. We do another 8 races into the season and do that 5 or 6 times, and that's your year.
So
at the end of the season, Good. But at the end of the season, do you have an overall champion from all of the seasons and each champion from each of the separate small ones?
Exactly. Yep. So you have segment winners, we call them. So every 8 races, wherever you are in the points, it determines if you're the segment winner. And then, yep, we have a yearly champion at the end. So there's something to race for at all times throughout the year.
So you could get in here, and if you raced all 48 races, you'll track points from like that tally. That's going to be an astronomical number of points. Like you're talking thousands of points. But if guys are willing to show up every single week and put in the time, they can win that entire season.
That's right. Yep. And I think it's around averaging about 300 points per segment for like the top performers, maybe a little under. So 3 times 6, you're looking at around 1,800 points throughout the year. And I really just wanted to reward drivers who were consistently showing up, performing decently well, on average, because we don't have a playoff system, nothing like that. It's all points based, no eliminations. Come here, finish well each week.
Right.
Clean driver gets 3 bonus points, and that determines your champion. So it's really who comes out here and performs each week, each and every single week at their highest ability.
So what at the end of the 48 races, what's in store for like the grand champion of the 2025 season? Is there like you got a trophy, or like you take their car paint and put it on a little die-cast model or something? Like,
I can't give that away, but there is something in store, because that's a monumental achievement.
It is.
It's one thing, and there are guys, 4 people right now racing for the segment championship, maybe 5 depending on how the points go for tonight. But the big picture is that 2025 championship, and it's not out of the question that they will be receiving a nice little something in the mail.
Ooh, interesting. Now we get to speculate what it could be. It could be a $5 Best Buy gift card.
$2,000 now.
Yeah,
Can't do that.
$4 billion. If you do like a Dr. Evil thing, be like,
Unless you want
$1 billion.
You do realize if you had told people that it was $2,000, you would have so many people here that you wouldn't even be able to. You'd be doing qualifying races on Mondays to get the people in here for Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't be able to race ever.
No, that would be hectic for sure. You definitely need a sponsor to put up the $2,000, but there's events that we've held that have generated some serious dough. So, I mean, people come out to good leagues, man. You're having a great turnout out here every week too, which is awesome to see. So the 48.
Yeah, we're having our ups and downs, but we're making it work. And with the exposure that Tarnation TV's given us, it's been a huge help. We've already done 2 or 3 broadcast races so far, and they've gone pretty well. We're just looking to continue putting on. We focus on clean racing and green flag pit stops. That's what we're able to offer over some of these other leagues. Yeah, maybe they have 35, 40 drivers, but they also have 10, 15 cautions come along with that. Yeah. So that's what you're going to get.
Some of the best racing you'll have would be with less people. We're getting ready to go green here, so we're going to get you back up there, buddy. But thanks for coming down and explaining to the fans, what the series entails and whatnot. And good luck tonight.
Okay, good talking to you guys.
Thanks, Toby. Thanks for having Tarnation TV too. This is a lot of fun to come here and do this for you. So let's do some racing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Toby Roberson, he runs this place. He's a neat person. It's a lot of work, man. 48 race season? That's insanity.
Yeah. I applaud a lot of the people that run these leagues just because I've done it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the hardest thing you have with this is pleasing everybody and policing everything and, just trying to keep it going. And it can be very stressful.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, especially the multiple, like he's made it even tougher on himself too by running multiple segments and all this extra stuff. It's just, it's going to be great though, man. I wonder what he's gotten. There's so many things that could be a prize at the end of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're going to hurt yourself trying to figure that out.
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that could happen. Like, because I know there's custom trophy shops and they'll put whatever you want on there. And with 3D printing,
there's some guys out there that make some really nice die casts.
Yep, I've seen
them.
That would be
one
cool.
of the trophies that we used to give out at Hobo Racing was my sister does wood burning, so I would design a trophy and she'd make it.
Nice. See what I mean? Custom stuff like that from the community, and you could just pay a guy like $50, $100, $200, whatever they charge, and you could end up some really cool, unique things, And with 3D printing, like I got a friend of mine who's big into the 3D printing, and he designs stuff in Blender.
Oh no! They reset it.
Catastrophe. We missed it because I was on focused into the back.
Okay, buddy, fired up.
Well,
Remember, one switch at a time.
What happened? Joven was warming his tires up.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
It's all right. And then Matt Watkins on the outside of him kind of got down, was doing the same. They touched, and then it just got a little bit hectic.
There's Joven Anderson, your pole sitter.
Yeah, no surprise, Joven Anderson on pole. He is a talent. I always love racing with him just because he makes me a better racer. He is very, very talented at this. He's very good at it, and he is hard to beat.
Yeah.
Not unbeatable. Not unbeatable.
No, not unbeatable.
Just hard to beat.
Very consistent.
Very consistent. Matt Watkins on the outside. I think I remember him when we did the.
We're just taking a quick spin around here, looking at the field.
The exhibition races. I think I remember him, but I don't remember him in this color car.
This camera is attached to Joven, so we got to get back up there so it doesn't send us for a loop. Sometimes these camera tricks I pull can give me vertigo. So.
Toby Robertson there. He is going to start third on the grid. Outside him is Ken Hunksbury. Cheez-Its. Ford Fusion. That's one thing that's kind of neat about this mod. People have made a lot of different templates for you. So you're going to see a variation of different models out there of different cars and such. You got Randy Waugh, 21, always in a Dodge except for when he's in a Ford. Greg Lovell outside in the Haviland. I think it's a Haviland Ford.
Texaco Haviland. That's a cool looking car.
It is a very nice looking car.
Here's your points leader for number 8.
Benny Carroll and his Snap-on Chevrolet. Outside of him, you wanted the only, I think that's Ulysses Sandoval.
That will be Ulysses, yep.
We're getting ready to go green.
We got Bobby Farrell, Steven Brandstetter, Pat McCarskey back there with Brian Lovell, and John Godfrey in the free Wrangler.
Yeah. He normally runs the 711, but in this series, it's a car he said he had. And it is. I like that. I like that when Junior drove that and won. I think it was at Talladega or Daytona with it.
Yeah, he drove his dad's car. I mean, and a lot of leagues actually retired the 3. And on our Dale Earnhardt seniors, so like the fact that these guys didn't, John's all over that. Like, no, I'll drive the 3. Somebody will drive the 3. Okay, so right off the first lap here, we got the first 4 cars. Look like they're pulling away from the pack already.
Yeah, the 5th place car back here is Denny Carroll, followed by Ken Hunksbury, and then Greg Lovell. I believe that's Randy Waugh behind them. Kind of separate little groups. Now, remember, we talked a little bit about it earlier. This track's going to be a little bit of a tire reader, so you don't want to push too hard, especially if you're going to have some green flag runs. You want to try to save just a little bit at the beginning, and then, hopefully you'll have a little bit more, and at the end of it, you'll be able to use those fresher tires, per se. You're still going to have the same laps on as everybody, but if you don't abuse them as much, you'll be able to go a bit further with it.
So what was the fuel window again?
About 22 to 23 laps is what Toby told me.
Okay.
He basically, this is going to be a track where they're going to be lifting too. So different drivers. So if you're one of those, what they call trail breakers, which I am, and if you trail brake, basically what that stance means is that you are, when you're going into the corner, you're not actually letting off the brake, and you're on the gas and you're on the brake kind of at the same time, and that will cause you to use up a little bit more fuel. Some people don't. Some people just will lift and then brake and go that way, and they're going to get better fuel mileage.
Watching Randy looking underneath Roberson here.
Toby's one of these smart ones out here racing, and he'll
let him go.
If somebody's making a charge, they're pushing hard, he's going to let them go, because as I say that, he does the old Dale Earnhardt crossover move.
Yeah. The old how's she going?
Yeah.
The old wraparound crossover.
Denny Carroll follows him through.
Yep. So it looks like Randy was like pushing now, like got the pass done, but actually overdrove it a little bit and just lost a spot plus another one.
And then, of course, Greg Lovell's all over the back of him. Greg Lovell's he's an aggressive driver. I'm not don't I say aggressive? I don't mean he's a rough driver or anything like that. He's a very good driver, very fun to race with. But he is aggressive. He'd rather be out front leading the whole thing than sitting around in the back saving tires.
Yeah, I mean that's the spot to be too, especially when you've got let's see, we got like 15 drivers on track. 13 drivers started the race today. When you're in front of them, it's hard. It's a lot easier to stay, to keep the car clean when you're up front.
Denny Carroll's made his way up to third in the Snap-on Chevrolet Impala. Denny's another driver I like racing against. He is a bit aggressive, but he will work his way to the front if the car is capable of doing it.
Yep. Matt Watkins in the 15, right behind Jovan there. Jovan leading this race right from the get-go. Some
Greg
activity.
Lovell taking a pass on the outside in turn 1 and 2. I was wondering how that outside was going to come into play.
Yeah, you were
quite haven't made. Yep, there he goes on the backstretch. He got a good run off. So even though you may burn your tires up there a little bit more, you may not. I don't know that about this track, this version of it. But sometimes what happens is you get a good run off the corner. The driver on the bottom can't go up to the wall like they need to, so that causes them to be a little bit tighter. And of course, they can't get off the corner as fast in that. So Greg got a good run off the corner and made his way past that. And then of course Randy lost the next position to the U-Man, Ulysses Sandoval. He has worked his way up into 6th.
Greg Lovell right there in the 8 points leader. Only ahead of second place by 4 points.
Okay, so now we've got Bobby Farrell. It seems like he's spun on lap 9.
Oh.
On the backstretch. No caution. Went down into the grass and got it going, and he's back running again.
I'll rewind that and get you a replay.
Next concern is, where's the leader?
Yeah, it looks like, watching the replay here, the car just faded right up to the wall.
I don't know what the setup is. I hang out in the garage a little bit earlier, talked a little bit with a couple guys were asking questions about it. And if the setup is something that Toby had, and he said, it's worked good in the past, so I don't know if it's a tight setup or a loose setup. Obviously, you don't want to have it too loose because some drivers won't be able to drive that. A good driver will be able to drive a tight set, where a guy that doesn't really handle the loose setup very well, you're going to cause him to spin, and it's just going to make it not as much fun, running around under caution all the time.
Do they run moderate damage? Because I was looking at the hit that Farrell took on the inside wall after losing control through the grass there, and it didn't look like the rear of the car took any damage. This camera's weird. Here we go.
They are running moderate damage.
I think it is moderate, yeah. So, I mean, at least that impact for him anyway is on the back of the car. It'll affect the performance a little bit, but not. It won't affect the motor.
The driver on the move is the 44 Brian Lovell. He's in a Dodge Charger today. He's got some football team on there. Union Bears, I guess.
Bears. That's a cool scheme. I like that.
He is actually making a charge towards the front. He just passed Ken Hunksbury, and he is working now on Randy Waugh.
Speaking of Huntsbury, look at that car. That's insane. I love that.
The old Carl Edwards Cheez-Its card.
I have a feeling he went to the paint shop and was like, hey, guys, just come here for a second. I want every primary color you can find on this car. And that's what they did. Farrell in trouble again.
Yeah, I just see that. I was just going to say, just went a lap down.
Did he yield? Yeah, that's a pretty harsh yield, though. That he was going really slow. A lot of sharp-looking units on the track this evening.
Pat McCarsky, he's floating around back there in 10th place. I think he's just doing more tire saving than he is, trying to charge to the front.
Is Pat like a paint scheme machine? Because every time this guy races, he's painted himself a brand new car every single time.
He loves painting his cars, and I tell you, he makes some really cool cars.
And he doesn't lean on like a specific color either. Like I'd roll right by that and go, okay, wait, that was a 97. Was that Bukarski? Because it's brown, it's pink, it's neon green, it's white, it's gray. Like he doesn't have a specific favorite color. He literally uses the entire palette.
Mm-hmm. He does a lot of cars, and like I said, he does some really neat cars.
Yeah, every time I see him, he's always racing something different, especially when it comes to a different mod, because we're racing Cup 12 tonight. We're usually racing Monster Energy 19. So I wonder what his card folder looks like. He's probably got a couple hundred.
I'm sure he's got a few. His paint shop folder is probably large like mine is.
Yeah.
Tony Roberson is back up to the third position. He got back by Denny Carroll, and he's actually working his way back up towards Matt Watkins. So I think he kind of saved a little bit. Now we're starting to get down to where we only got to have about 5 more laps. So you ain't never going to use these tires again. You might as well use them up.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at the best lap. Toby's best lap this evening so far was 30.2 seconds. His last lap was 31.3. It's a little thing that I stole from Andrew last week when we were broadcasting over at Hobo on Sunday.
I don't have that information quite like that.
Push your space bar. It's up on the top right. At the top of the screen, you've got the driver that you focused on. You can see their best lap and their last lap. And he's like, yeah, you can see when the tires start to fade. It's because the guys are now running. Toby's about a second and a half slower than his best. So you're getting deep into a run. Your tires start to fall off a little bit. And we can actually see the interval. He made the pass on Watkins, though.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Very
I was
cool.
looking at our GNL TV because you're always looking at that.
Yep.
And I weren't looking at our game. Of course, Jovan Anderson's still our leader, and he's like 18 laps thus far.
Yep. Let every single one.
He's shortly into green flag pit stop. So now the question is who's going to start to pull in first?
So Watkins faded a lot there. Once Toby was able to get by him.
Greg Lovell, he's headed down on pit road.
Oh, Greg is. Okay.
Yeah, those Lovell guys, they're pretty good at pitting early,
Yeah,
what it does though is what they call short pitting. You get in, you get your fresher tires before everybody else does. You get out there and you do maybe 2 more laps than they do. And you're turning, I don't know what the difference in from the beginning to now. They're about a half a second-ish. So you get in there, you get fresh tires, you get out there, and you make up time before they get out there with theirs.
Yeah, and he is the points leader.
Now, the downside to that, should a caution fall, puts in a lap down. Luckily, they do give laps back. But, is if he doesn't get out there in time and, per se, Bobby Farrell ends up being the one, or right now you've got Denny Carroll, that's the first car 1 lap down, so he has probably pitted as well.
Yeah, I'll keep flipping back to... Yeah, we got another car coming down the pits.
Denny Carroll and Randy Waugh have already made one pit
looks
stop.
like level. McCarsky. I gotta adjust this camera a little bit.
Well, I think Greg's thought on that was just to try to get in a little bit earlier to make up time. Now we're getting down to the point where we're pretty close, 22 laps. You've got drivers that have pulled down just because, it's about time. And trying to see.
I'm thinking I'm focused on Joven right now, still leading the race, has not pit yet. He's going to definitely be due to come down. He looks like he's pushing this gas tank right to the he's on the 23rd lap right now. So he's running this thing pretty much empty. He's definitely coming to the pits now.
Toby Robinson's coming in with him.
TV2 is in a really bad spot. Every time I switch to that camera, it's behind the trailers, and I can't see anything. This track's great. A lot of great camera angles, except for the TV2 when they're coming out of turn 3.
Matt Watkins stayed out, lead a lap, and the advantage that he's going to have is if he went 24 laps. So if he can make 24 laps, he pits. You know, as it goes through, he might be able to go a little bit further than the rest of them. Really, you know, that depends. And the other advantage of that too, should a caution have come out, you trap down a bunch of people, lap down. Of course, they'd all get their waiver rounds, but
yeah. Looks like everybody else is headed to pit road now too. Focused on Watkins in 15.
Ken Hunksbury and John Godfrey all coming down, and they all went 24 to 25 laps. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because we were talking about the fuel window. These guys took it right to the brink.
Now let's just see how it's going to come into play.
Yeah, because now
level.
There's about a 3 or 4 lap window on all these guys doing their pit stops under green.
Kind of just try to see. So right
Watkins
now,
lost
Randy
it.
Waugh,
He held on to it.
Carroll had made up time. By pitting a little earlier, they were ahead of Jovan Anderson, although he's coming right behind him.
Watkins actually coming back around to get on the track. Got it right sideways and straightened her up again somehow. It didn't go all the way around. He just got it a little bit of some drift action going there. So he's going to lose some time, which is a shame because he did get out there and lead that lap, but that's going to cost him, especially under green flag racing conditions.
So by pitting early, it didn't work out so good for Greg Lovell, but Denny Carroll and Randy Waugh. So Denny Carroll was just led his second lap. So, you know, he stayed out. He pitted early. By pitting earlier, he got out there and got ahead, so he was able to get back out and into the lead.
Yep. So Jovan Anderson has led 22 laps this evening. Denny Carroll's got 1 and 2 laps led by Matt Watkins. Just looking at the YouTube chat here. We were talking about the go-karts before. Noah says that they run slicks, Burris tires. I'm sure you know what that means, Rod.
Berries. Yeah, they're just a different one.
What's a flat cart?
Flat cart has no roll cage, and he called it a champ cart. So because there are different types of flat carts, but a champ cart is basically the different wheelbase.
Ah, okay.
So you can get certain flat carts are, you know, they're usually a shorter wheel. A champ cart will give you a little bit shorter wheelbase.
Okay.
A flat cart will give you a shorter wheelbase. Sorry, a champ cart gives a little bit longer wheelbase.
And we got Prepster Hipster. I guess that's Josiah. Because I'm friends with Blaine. We race trucks for Team FedEx. We both work for FedEx Express, and he's my Wave 2 driver. So Jack's watching the race tonight, or Josiah. He's got like 6 names. But yeah, that's funny. We race for Team FedEx. I'm Wave 1, he's Wave 2, and we do the same area of the city, so.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's welcome to the feed, everybody.
Jovan Anderson has worked his way back up into second place. It did work out fairly good for Greg Lovell. He's now in third.
I just put up on the top left of your screen there the real-time interval at the line. This is the information that the ticker will display, but because the ticker has to scroll through a couple times, this is actually real-time. So Jovan from 1.41 closed the gap to 0.85 on Denny in the lead. And of course, like you were saying, Jovan stayed out longer, right? Denny pit before him. So the tires now it's
tires-
interesting because you're going to have 3-4 more laps on those tires. It's going to start to fade 3 or 4 laps earlier.
But the thing of it is, if you can do that and time it right, it can pay off.
Yeah,
He's not going to be able to hold back Joe Van Anderson. It's not going to happen. But, he's got out there. He's led 6 laps, so that's a good thing.
Yep.
And Jovan's just pulling down underneath him right now on the backstretch. There's not much he's going to do. Jovan's tires are going to be a lot better than his is.
Yeah. And Denny knows that, so he's not going to fight him. Let him go and get back to hitting your marks. We were told at the start of the race that this was a 114 lap race. It turns out it's only a 107.
That's depending on sometimes what the track INI is set at.
Right. It's those settings behind the scenes that would actually change that percentage.
That's the neat thing about this game, too. We used to do that in my league. We'd actually go in and change the weather settings on the track INI file. So that we actually ran realistic weather, but we controlled it. So the game will allow you, if you do realistic weather, you could go in and practice during clear and 70 degrees. And then when the race comes, it could be cloudy and 65 degrees. So cloudy, the gear ratio changes. So, and it's much faster, but it's also looser, so we didn't, with a fixed setup, or even with unopened setups, you don't really want it to change so drastic that you can't do anything with it. So we would control it so that it would always be clear and it would always be 70 degrees plus or minus 3 or 2 or, however you want to do it.
That's another thing that I find with the leagues. Like, there's so many ways you can run a league, and weather, I forget about that. A lot of the times the weather is just set to clear 70 degrees, like weather's off. It's a lot of fun when it's a super windy day and you're pushing down the back straightaway or in the corners or something. That affects the setup a lot.
Yeah. One driver we haven't focused on yet tonight, Stephen Brandstetter. He's in the Bud Light Ford Fusion tonight.
I think I made that car. I did.
Could be. He's currently running an 11, working his way, kind of just quietly working his way towards the front.
Yeah, that's nice.
About him tonight. He hasn't really done anything to make us kind of look at him, but I was just kind of focusing through going through the pack a little bit and noticed this. We haven't talked about him yet.
Look at how nice that car looks. I forgot that I painted that for him. I'm like, that's one of my paint schemes. He said, Blaine, I needed to be obnoxious blue and obnoxious yellow. I said, okay, I can do that.
You haven't seen some of my old cars.
Currently running 11th, Stephen Brandstetter in the 510. He's right on the... Okay, so he just went low to gain a spot, and now he's going high to gain another spot. What's happening to Greg?
The 41, Denny Carroll, is coming down pit road along with Greg Lovell.
Greg Lovell, yeah.
Guys are kind of committed to this a little bit earlier pit stop.
Well, and remember, this is Big Stone Gap. This is Team Big Stone Gap right here.
Yep.
All these guys are brothers and cousins and everything else from Big Stone Gap, Virginia, and they are teammates no matter what race they're in, what mod we're racing. So when they're pitting, you'll notice they pit together. Looks like Greg overshot his pit stall just a slight bit.
When you run at Talladega Nights, when they used to run, and on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and Sundays, it was all Talladega track. That's all it was. And that one of the forces that you had to be reckoned with was the Big Stone Gap racing team. When they get together, they're hard to beat.
Oh yeah. People don't like it, but guess what? That's how racing works, man. You got a team that deep with that much talent.
Yep.
They're the team to beat. Sorry. You got to figure out how to beat them. And this is a simulation.
The great thing about them is
so it's not going to adapt and like slow them down. Like, this is a simulation. They're going to run their race, and you got to figure out how to get around them.
The good thing about what they do is when they get nose to tail, all 4 of them, they don't race each other. Whoever happens to be in the front is going to win it. They're just going to get as much points as they can. Kobe Robinson's worked his way back up to second, of course, by Denny Carroll pitting.
Yep. And Ulysses Sandoval right there is currently running in third, but he's 20 seconds off the leader. It's a big gap from second to third, as you can see in the top left there. The real
Pretty
time.
good gap from first to second, too. There's about 7 seconds. Yeah.
So this really is anybody's race. I mean, it's a great track. Kansas is so cool. And you can see the gap there after we've got half the field is a lap down.
Well, everybody that's a lap down pretty much now, with the exception, I think, of Bobby Furrow, have pitted.
Yeah.
So they're going to be, they're going to be making up time.
Yeah. Yeah, I just noticed that. A couple guys, let's see, Denny Carroll, Randy Warren, Greg Lovell have all pitted twice now. Retired from the race, Matt Watkins in the 15 car. He dropped out 8 laps ago. Doesn't say why, it just says he retired. That's unfortunate because Matt was giving Jovan a run for his money. Randy Watt currently running in 9th. Bobby Farrell in 12th.
Ken Hunksbury is on pit road now.
There comes Ken.
He's making his second stop of the evening.
Is pit speed limit 45?
Let me check.
He seemed to be going around the 40-mile-an-hour mark there.
That's 45 miles an hour. Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. You want to crank it up?
Why not? Let's let him hear it.
Let's go on board with Ken here, and we'll crank it up. We'll shut our mics off and just see what it sounds like.
So I hope you guys like the sounds of the cars out there. While we were kind of under doing that, we had a few pit stops being made. Jovan Anderson pitted. Kobe Robinson pitted. Ulysses Sandoval is actually headed down pit road right now.
There he is, yep. Thanks for the ride along, Ken.
I think he was the last one, or John Godfrey hasn't got pitted yet, but...
Yeah, we are still showing Godfrey with one pit stop, and Ulysses, obviously, this is going to be his second. Oh, we see Branstead there. So he had to back up a bit. to get around the number
John
7 of Bobby Farrell. 3 laps down Bobby in the orange car.
John Godfrey was able to lead that lap. I think he just was saving up. Yeah, so now he's coming down pit road. I like his little sponsor on the side of their sun drop.
Green flag conditions. Another green flag cycle.
Now,
Focusing there on Greg Lovell, Pat McCarskey right beside him. And they are not battling for a position. That's why Greg let him go. Greg is on the lead lap running in 3rd position, where Pat McCarskey is actually in 9th, but he's 1 lap down. So Greg wasn't gonna push it on that one.
Once again, Denny Carroll was able to get back out front by the pitting early. Is that going to be the proper strategy? That we don't know. One caution could just throw the whole strategy right out the door.
Yeah, like, you know, you'll run the numbers and do the math, and then, but you're gonna have to redo it all once the yellow comes up. So far so good.
Ulysses Sandoval did go a lap down on that exchange, but he's right on the rear bumper, getting ready to pass Denny Carroll, and he's going to have fresher tires. So Denny's not going to be able to keep him back there.
Denny is the race leader, and that will allow Ulysses to go back onto the lead lap.
Jovan Anderson is running him down. He's about just under 3 seconds behind him. But, you know, I'd say probably within 5 laps, he'll be right there, maybe a little less than that. Fresher tires, he's going to get back out there and get out front.
Yeah, and I just put up the interval again, the top left of your screen there. You can see the 41 is leading and the 93 in 2nd place at the line last time around, 2.8 seconds back. He has closed by 8 tenths, 2.0.
Bobby Farrell is pitted again. Just figured, let you know he's still out there. He's still running and still going strong. So,
according to my GNL, Bobby Farrell currently serving a black flag penalty.
Okay, that's what he was doing.
Yep.
I just see that.
Yeah, it's showing me his status right now as serving a black flag. So probably speeding. Yeah, GNL will show you that. It is a little bit behind, but
yeah,
it's behind but you can actually change the refresh rate on it. But I think it by default it's about 16 to 20 seconds.
Oh, you'll have to show me how to do that.
Yeah, it's a code thing. Got to get into the HTML code.
There goes Jovan Anderson taking back the lead on the outside. Of course, fresher tires are going to, pay in bigger dividends.
Well, I flip to the camera angle and it's behind the trailers again. I'm like, I can't. We're watching the battle for the lead from nothing. We're looking at the back of a hauler in the middle of the infield. So is Denny? Do you think Denny's fading here, or is he just conserving? Maybe.
I would think that he's been doing a little short pitting, which gets him out in the lead for a short period of time. He's led 12 laps tonight, which is that's pretty good. And he's just kind of hoping that that strategy will come into play with it. There's no sense for him to go out there and try to run down Jovan. Jovan's going to, he's got newer tires on there. He's going to go. Jovan, like I said, talented driver. He's hard to beat.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see, I don't know. I got the wrong points information on it earlier, so I don't know who the few drivers that are eligible. But I would imagine if Denny is, he's just trying to play the smart race and finish the best he can.
Denny is, yeah. Denny is second to Greg, 4 points behind Greg for first in the segment.
So as they stand right now, depending on how their point system actually works, which I'm pretty sure it's probably based on the original, because it's about like 5 points more if you win them. And then I think it drops down from there. So he's 2 positions or 3 positions ahead of Greg as it stands. Now, as I just say that Greg dropped back 1 more position,
Denny's headed to the pits.
Oh, it's about that time again.
Yeah. Right behind him, Brian Lovell.
You think about it, though. Just about the time Jovan takes over the lead from him, he does about 2, 3, 4 more laps, and then he pits.
Yeah. See, and Jovin's taking it right to the end of the run. Well, these guys are doing the early pit, right? And it's keeping them spread out a bit, so we're not having any crazy bottlenecks on pit road.
Now, one thing that Greg has been pretty much pitting with Danny Carroll, now Greg has decided to stay out a little bit longer. Has he done his third? Okay,
Greg
so he did do his
have
third.
three.
He did. So he's pitted a little earlier, because I noticed that when I looked at that, I was like, he's not going backwards. I just caught some interesting information.
Okay.
They're tight on fuel. Greg Lovell is saving fuel.
Okay.
He's coasting in the corners to save fuel.
Right. He always does that, though, does he not? That's his race style. He's always clutching.
If the race is going to play out that way, yes, he does. And
oh yeah,
he's clutching wicked.
Yeah, he is.
Just going
so we're going to be right on this, right up close and personal. You'll hear him dump the clutch right there. And
Toby
at the apex, he'll get back into it again.
Back in second. You said Greg Lovell was the leader. Danny Carroll was right behind him. Now, where is Toby in this? I do apologize. I don't have that information in front of me. You do.
Let me see. I'll bring it up. Toby's in third.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Kind of trying to figure when. Okay.
The amount of clutching, that's crazy. I love that stuff. All the different styles, like what that is he's going in the corners, he's putting the clutch in, which is basically taking the RPM down to about 1,000. So, it doesn't seem like lots. Like, okay, he's in the clutch for maybe a second or two at the most every time he goes into turns. How much is it really going to save him? Well, over the course of a full fuel run, you could end up saving a full lap of gas. Or maybe even more.
If you do it right, like I said, we didn't really get down to the specifics of it, but I know that they went about 25 laps. So they might be able to go, and you might see when we get down to that last pit stop, they got to go, let's say you do 25 laps each time. So now you're going to be 7 laps short. So if you can go to 26 laps, right, now you've taken, and after 3 or 4 pit stops, getting down where it's pretty close on fuel, you might be able to do it on fuel. So that's what some of these drivers may be doing. Now, the guys that are pitting earlier, that's not an option. They're basically planning on pitting, probably going to even short pit more on their last stop to get out there with fresher tires. If this keeps going green, I would imagine you'd do that.
Okay. On screen right now, I got some stats here for Greg. I got his car number wrong. I put the 88. Sometimes he runs the 088, but tonight he's running the 8. Either way, Greg Lovell has led 270 of 680 laps in the season.
Wow, that's pretty darn good.
So he's led 38% of all laps. Going into race 8, of course, we don't have stats for this race, but that's after 7 races. They had run 680 laps. He led 270 of them. Tonight, he hasn't led any tonight. But, he's first overall with 299 points. He doesn't really need to lead any. He just needs to finish good. Currently now running in 7th of 13 drivers showed up this evening. But that's a crazy stat, that he led 38% of all laps run.
A very crazy stat.
And that was a stat that we got off that sheet. The extra stats, it's kind of neat to see that stuff.
So now, due to the wonderful thing of technology, Blaine has given me the points.
Yes.
So if the race finished right now, you would, I strongly believe, now like I said, I'm only speculating, but I strongly believe we got Bobby Farrell back up in the wall again. Danny Carroll would be your points leader because he's currently in third place in on the track.
Right.
Sixth place is where Greg Lovell is. That puts him ahead of him. And now I do believe that Toby is pitting again.
Toby is pitting, or Joven is pitting right now.
Okay, so
The 93.
that's the three. A little different strategy. I think you're pitting a little earlier. Could be wrong. Ulysses Sandoval's clutching as well. So you got a lot of guys figuring they're trying to save as much as they can, go as far as they can, so that they can do that last pit stop and not have to add one more. Just kind of scanning through what everybody's doing here.
Yeah, keeping an eye on all these guys because we've had so many green flag pit stops tonight. They are really spread out, and it shows there's only 2 cars on the lead lap, Joven and Ulysses.
It's starting to change now that they've pitted.
Right, now we're back into another pit cycle again, and everybody's on such a different cycle. It takes a few laps for the stats to kind of relate what's actually happening. But this is an awesome race so far, to say the least.
Ulysses Sandoval stayed out.
Yes.
And he's severely clutching, trying to save. He has got about a just under 13-second lead over Danny Carroll. So he is, I don't know where he stands fuel-wise right now, but he is, I mean, that thing is barely on throttle all that much. I wish we had telemetry on it because he's not really, he is saving.
Are you talking about Ulysses?
Yeah.
So in that turn right there, he was down to 152 mile an hour. On the back straight right now, he's going to peak at 178. Do you know the time? Like, yeah, and he's clutching hard.
Oh, yeah. He's just coasting that thing.
Yeah. He's
we
trying something.
Yeah, we're just trying something. We're not really sure because, mind you, it's without having any cautions. You know, we've been just going back and forth and trying to keep track of who's doing what. And so right now, he's got a totally different strategy than most of the drivers out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
Danny
taking
Carroll
this thing
way
right to
back
the
up
end.
at the second, but Jovan Anderson's right there behind him again. I'm trying to do the math here.
There's Steven
short
Branstetter. It looks like Ulysses Sandoval is headed to the pits again. This will be Ulysses' 3rd pit stop of the night. He got a lot out of that tank.
John Godfrey is another one that's only done 2 pit stops.
Yeah. And John right now is back on the lead lap also.
But he's on the lead lap, but he's like the last car that's on the lead lap. As of current, you know what I mean? That's just at that current moment. He might be kind of hoping for, where you're 20 seconds behind the leader and you still have to pit. You know what I mean? You're not going to get yourself in a great predicament if you pit. Unless you pit, it keeps going, and that pit's going to work out through your strategy. But I think now, he might be kind of hoping, right now, and I think he's pulling down pit road now. I think he's gone as far as he can. Yep. That's going to put him probably down a lap, being as far back as he is. Considering a lap time is approximately around anywhere from 30 to 34 seconds, depending on what set of tires you have on.
It looks like everybody is clutching going into these turns. We're just focused on Danny Carroll right now. He's running in 2nd place, as you can see on screen. 2nd overall in the standings as well, with 295 points. He's only 4 points away from 1st. He has run in all 7 races, and he has 6 top 5 finishes. So this is another thing that I noticed from the stats of domination in a different way, where Greg is leading a ton of laps, and obviously he's in 1st in points. Denny's second in points, consistently just finishing in the top 5.
Well, that's the thing you got to do is when you can't win, you finish second. When you can't finish second, you finish third. You know, you just do the best you can every time. One of the things that I've never done in my real racing career and on this game is never points raced. People will say, well, what's points racing? Well, that's where you sit down and you figure out, okay, so now, you know, tonight's race, we're gonna elect a champion. Okay, so in order for Denny Carroll to be the champion, he's got to finish at least here. You know what I mean? So you figure out, as long as if Greg wins, I finish here, or you know what I mean, how it goes. You've never done that.
You know, you need to get at least this. If this guy's here, you need to be here.
I've never done it. I've always just gone out and just done the best I can and let the cards fall where they lie.
Right. Okay. You never have that in your back of your head, eh? Like,
nope. You watched.
Let's just run my race, and if I do this, then that's what happens, kind of thing. Not being like, okay, I only need to be 12th.
So that's what happened to, like, in NASCAR now, where they do the playoffs, where they have 4 drivers fighting for a champion, and it's basically whoever wins or finishes ahead of who is the champion. Well, you take, and then I'm not no disrespect to Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion, you know, multi-time winner, a very talented driver, but
one of the
look
best.
at back before they did that, they figured out as long as you finished 10th, you're the champion. So they would run 8th. If you finished, all you had to do was finish 20th. He would run 15th.
Right.
Never
wouldn't push it hard.
Jimmy Johnson didn't win Homestead for the longest time because he never had to.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Then when it finally changed around to where, you know, he was one of the, you know, top 4 in the final finale, he went out. The first time he ever went out and won the championship, he went out and won the race.
Let's look at this battle here. We got Toby Roberson, Ulysses Sandoval going underneath him. Toby's in second. Ulysses is in 5th. Because Ulysses is a lap down and Toby is not.
But
that's how much of a crazy separation there is tonight. You're like, oh man, that guy just passed that guy. Yeah, not for position. He's 5th place, but he's a lap behind.
That's because Poppy Sandoval is on fresher tires.
Yep. And there's your leader. The number 93 of Jovan Anderson. 61 laps led all tonight is wild. Denny Carroll has 12 laps led. Matt Watkins, who has unfortunately retired, has led 2. John Godfrey also has a lap led as well. And who else up there? Ulysses has 4. So there's a little bit of a couple people, you know, Jovan shared the wealth with a couple guys. Fastest lap tonight so far, Brian Lovell with 30.018 seconds with an average of 179.8 mile per hour.
So now I think I'm trying to go and focus on, I just did a little bit of math and figuring it out. Okay. The drivers that can do about 25 laps and then running at 25 laps can pit now and make it. I think you're going to see Denny Carroll pit within 2 to 3 laps.
Okay.
Put those pressure tires on there and try to do that to make it to the end. Depends, like I said, they've been pitting a little early, so they've been doing probably about 20 laps. He may go 5 more.
I was going to say you might want to go a little bit farther into that because it allows you to drive the car harder to the checker.
Right. Well, Jovan Anderson has been going a lot deeper into the run than everybody else. The same with Toby Roberson. So, you know, who's right, who's wrong?
Yeah,
we don't know that yet.
I think everybody definitely needs to pit. Like right now, they need to pit one more time to make it to the end. When they do it is a big deal because the farther you can go now, this means you can drive that thing harder and not have to conserve at the end of your run, being that coming up to the checkered flag. You don't want to start slowing down too much or risk cutting tires down because you run them right down to the rim. And that can happen. I mean, this is like, oh, it's just a video game. No, you can burn your tires off and wear them out so bad they'll actually fall apart, and you won't have
blow up.
Yeah, you'll be running. The car will be sitting cockeyed on the track because the guy burned off the right front. I've had to hobble the pits to the pits more than once just for taking my tires that one too many laps. You got to come down pit road. You cut a tire. You're like, yeah, I know. Thanks, crew chief. You can tell because the whole car's just dragging on the ground.
So the thing is now, the guy that's been Denny Carroll, Greg Lovell, Brian Lovell's been doing a little bit. The guys that have been doing the early pit, and it's called short pitting. Yep. Now it's been an advantage. They've been able to get out to the front or out in front of Jovan and Toby Robertson and doing really well with it. Now the downside to that. All right, let's say Jovan Anderson decides he's going to go a bit deeper into this. They pit. All of a sudden, they run maybe 5-6 laps. Caution comes out. They're trapped a lap down. Jovan Anderson decides that he's going to go and pit. They are going to become the wave around drivers. And what happens with the wave around driver is they go in front of the driver. Then once they get the green, the sign, the lights go off that we're going to go green next time by, they go around and come back to the back. Well, they're back on the lead lap. But they're also back there with 6-lap older tires. And Jovan, they're never going to catch the guys that got new tires.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the gamble you take about taking the wave around. Yep. You're not allowed to pit.
Yep.
We were just focused on Randy Waugh there. Randy Waugh was running in 9th place, and this is Ken Hunsbury currently in 10th.
Pat McCarsky is one of the guys that. So Greg Lovell must have pitted. He is sailing past Jovan Anderson.
Yeah, pitted, let's see, Brian Lovell, Denny Carroll, Toby Robertson, Randy Waugh, Greg Lovell. They've all got 4 pit stops under their belt. Bobby Farrell as well.
Now, Toby Robertson did an early pit. He hasn't done that all night. Gone a little bit, hasn't gone as long and as,
Jovan is coming down clutching as well.
So Greg Lovell's on a fuel-saving mode.
Jovan Anderson also headed down the pits. I'm going to keep my eye on the stats track in here to see if anybody's getting penalized. Most of these guys.
Denny Carroll's pitting is coasting. These guys are tight on fuel. Ones that did the short pit, they're going to be struggling to try to make it on fuel.
Currently looking at your race leader. That will change momentarily, of course.
Well, the next thing, too, though, okay, so they short pitted. The next thing is, did they take 2 cans of fuel? Because a lot of times,
I hope so.
If you did 4 tires and 2 cans of fuel, the tires are done before the fuel is. So you wait, a couple of points of a second longer to fuel it up. So if they figured, we're going to only take 1.5 cans, they're going to be in and out quicker with their tire stop, but don't know if it's going to be faster just because, they're going to have to save fuel. And you can't save fuel and be fast.
No. Yeah, it's one or the other. You got out quicker, but then you're going to save. You're going to be in the same boat, and you're going to be worried about that fuel length.
So Brian Lovell,
you're better off to take as much as you can get and then just know you're going to make it.
Brian Lovell's now on pit road, but he was our leader, and Jovan Anderson just passed Denny Carroll. So Denny Carroll's in 2nd currently, but Jovan's back into the lead. Toby Robertson's right behind Denny Carroll. Now, he's not too concerned about these drivers passing him. His concern is going to be, where's Greg Lovell?
Greg Lovell currently on the front straightaway, coming across the line in 6th place. Everybody has gone through their cycle, I do believe, except Ulysses. Ulysses seems to be pushing it the farthest now.
He has been doing that all night. He has been pushing as far as he can go.
So many different strategies here, and then he's going to have the best tires because he's coming in last. He's the only one who hasn't pit yet. Him and Brandstetter. The 5'10 of Steven Brandstetter has not had his first pit stop yet either. So, and he's staying out one more time.
Denny Carroll currently right now, I'm just talking about the championship part of it. You got Denny Carroll back here in fourth. No, moved back into third, so somebody had pitted. And Greg Lovell's back in eighth. So currently right now, if the race were to stop, which we still have a few more laps to go, not too many, we're getting down pretty close to 15 to go, he'd be the champion. And he is clutching. He's saving fuel.
Ulysses is staying out again? This is crazy. He's pushing this thing right to the end again, I guess. He has to pit, right? I mean, there's no way he can make it on... Oh, I'm sorry. Ulysses has pit. He's made 4 stops.
One that hasn't is John Godfrey.
That's what I was looking at Ulysses and getting the lines mixed up with John Godfrey. So John Godfrey is definitely going to have to pit again. He's currently in 7th place. Jovan Anderson is your leader still, with 73 laps led right now. Total domination.
That's Jovan. I mean, like I said, love racing against him because the guy, he makes you better every time you race him.
Yeah, and if he's on a track that he likes, you can tell.
Yeah. Don't ever race him at Dover. I mean, I raced him once at Dover, and I'll tell you what, I got 2nd place to Jovan, and he just has a way of saving tires that's very incredible.
Yeah, and Dover's a tough one.
Yeah, very tough on tires. So here we are, another track that's tough on tires, and Jovan's out front.
Yep. Watching John Godfrey make his final pit stop. Back to your race leader. The 93 of Jovan Anderson.
Okay, so now things have changed a little bit. Greg Lovell is ahead of Denny Carroll, and I'm trying to figure out how that happened. Denny Carroll just went back by him. But I think what's happening is Denny Carroll and Greg Lovell are saving fuel.
Yep.
So Denny Carroll decided that he backed off a bit. I got to save, I got to save, I got to save.
Denny's in the pits right now. Is Denny on pit road? It's showing that he's pitting.
He's...
Huh. Yeah, he must have...
See that? He's not pitting.
No. GNL is reporting
No, he did an
him.
extra pit. They did this. Okay, remember I was talking about this before?
Yeah.
With the short pitting. The downside to short pitting is that, you're not going to be able to go as far as the next guy.
Right.
So we saw Greg Lovell.
5th time.
So we saw Greg Lovell earlier saving and saving and saving. He's currently got himself in 3rd position. And all he's got to do is just stay ahead of Denny Carroll. I mean, he's right. He can finish 3rd behind Toby Robinson, and he still has the championship.
Yeah, we're locked onto Toby right now. He was 1.5 away from Jovan. Now he's 1.8, so Jovan's keeping that gap from 1st. Toby in 2nd place, 1.8 seconds behind him. Got 6 laps to go here. Lap number 101 of 107. And Greg is your points leader. Where'd he go? There he is. Currently running in 3rd. His fastest lap tonight, 30.04 seconds. Fastest lap of the night so far, 30.01.
But
by
bear in
Brian
mind,
Lovell.
He's not fast. He's out there. He's coasting the corners. He is saving. I mean, he just lost 2 seconds. He just went into turn 1 and he's right back on the clutch and he's just coasting. So the strategy he's trying to play, he's trying to go as far as he can with the fuel that he has.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, okay, because if Denny Carroll catches him and passes him, all right, which I believe he already has,
Yes.
and he's still got to go all the way around the track to catch him again.
That's the thing. Yeah, he's a lap down, so it doesn't.
And with only
it's
like
irrelevant.
5 laps to go, Greg is just saving fuel to try to keep himself from trying to win this championship.
Yep, that's it. He's in a good spot. He's in a podium finish right now. As he runs right now, 3rd place. It's great
He's
track
gonna do it.
position. And I'm hoping
One
he's
more
got
lap.
lots of gas. Like you said.
I don't think he's got a lot of gas.
They all
as long as he
pitted.
can keep it going.
And that's always the question. Like, they all pitted with enough time to get to the end. It's the fact of, did they take a can and a half or 2 full cans? These guys don't always just take the maximum amount of fuel. They know exactly what they need, and they won't take any more. But you see the amount of fuel saving going on right now on the 8. You hope that he can make it.
Well, this is I'm sitting here trying to figure out the math of it, because so now Greg has gone back down a lap.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. He's not fighting with the guys in front of him.
No.
And Denny Carroll has got, I don't know how he got new tires, but I know he's got fuel. Denny's not. He's all out.
And nobody's
I don't
going to catch Joven. He's been putting about he's got, he added a couple of seconds on the last couple of laps in the interval between him and Toby. So nobody's catching Joven.
Greg's in turn 3 right now, coasting.
Yep. White flag being taken right now by Joven. White flag in the air.
Denny Carroll is going into turn 3 now, full song. I'm sorry, guys, we're not focusing on the winners right now, but focusing on the championship.
Yeah, I've got the camera locked onto the 93. I almost need 2 screens here so we can get the leader and like the winner and
Greg
the leader
is
and
fuel saving. He's going into 3 now.
Yep, there he is.
And I don't think Denny can carry it. Denny's going into 3 now. Greg's going to have to run out on the front stretch.
And there's Joven Anderson. Race is complete. Your race winner, the 93, Joven Anderson.
Greg Lovell is, I'm trying to see where he's at. He's going down the backstretch. Coasting. I mean, he's got to be down low on fuel. So, yeah, and is there a lap down? They still have to get to cross the start-finish line. And he does it. Greg Lovell is going to be your champion.
He's in 3rd place. Wow. Did we just run 170 laps clean?
Clean.
Unreal.
That was a pretty good race.
That was amazing. This is why
That's pretty cool.
This is why you race at leagues like this, the Mobile 10 Cup Series, with the Cup 12 mod, DesmondRacing.com. As we watch Joven Anderson burn this place to the ground because he won this gosh darn thing in style, 86 laps led of 107. He does not share that.
They do things a little differently than we normally do tonight. Usually we do the top 3 in order. We're going to save the top 3, the 3rd place driver, to the end. So I'm going to bring Toby Robinson into the booth.
Okay.
Toby,
He might be
Blaine Donovan up here. So you got yourself 2nd place finish. Good. Didn't get the championship if we're doing our math right.
Yep, there were no cautions, so nothing really to review. Points are pretty much official. So yeah, congrats to Greg Lovell. He's put on a great, 8-race stretch here, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll have a shot at it next segment.
I somehow doubt you'll be right there. I mean, I think you ain't gonna be. You'll be there all through it. I doubt you're not gonna be there.
I've had a really fortunate series of races here. I haven't finished outside the top 5 yet, and it's I'm just fingers crossed, making sure I stay out of people's way and continue getting decent finishes. Because I do have my eyes on that yearly, the 2025 championship.
Yeah.
So that's the big goal.
And of course, Greg Blaine was saying something about he led over 200 laps in the 8 race series, is it, I believe. That's pretty good. So that that just shows you Greg's a good little driver. He's very aggressive, very talented.
He's good. He's a good little driver.
Yeah, he's a good little driver.
Yeah.
I've raced.
Nah, he's a fantastic driver.
He's
You put him on the right
raced-
track. I mean,
He's raced a couple
Martinsville, if you would have
times.
seen that race, Martinsville, he just dominated the entire
Oh,
road,
yeah.
led almost the entire race. Put him on Phoenix. He was out in front most of the race, and I think it came down to just a little bit of tire strategy at the end of the race. But yeah, it's he won Daytona Beach as well, so he is a tough driver to face.
One of the great things about for us tonight, normally we'll have races and we get a caution or two, and we get pit stops, and we were ragged going back and forth trying to keep track of everything. A green to checkered race, which is, in my opinion, awesome. I mean, even when I drove or watched races, I don't watch races for the cautions. I watch them for the racing, and that's what I like to see more than that. And great race tonight, and coming out second, that's nothing to, your strategy, you changed your strategy a little bit through the night. You went a little bit long with Jogan earlier in the race, and I kind of saw that you started kind of to short pitted it a little bit near the end.
Yeah, good eye. I mean, I was just, if you follow the leader, you're going to follow the leader the whole night. So I mixed it up, tried to do something a little, different, maybe sneak into the pits a few laps for him and short pit a little bit. I heard there was some drama near the end of the race with him trying to pit, and it made it a lot closer than, it needed to be. But I'm really happy with the way I performed. No major mistakes today. And like you said, second is nothing to, be upset about. It's great. It's a great run. While I have the floor, though, I just want to shout out to, we had 13 drivers out there, and we ran over a 100-lap race, no cautions. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys. So, nice job.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable race to see, to go from 107 laps and all the green flag pitting, and there's no issues, and the setup must have been absolute perfection. Everybody definitely, we saw some guys, kind of getting the hang of it, I think, at the start, like, drifting up a little bit. A couple guys slapped the wall, but everybody was able to hang on to it and put on a fantastic show.
Yeah, and I think it put on a pretty good show. That's not to say, I do think there are a couple adjustments we want to make. I like to be transparent about it, open about it, even in the broadcast, because we don't get it perfect every week. And I feel like the tire wear is maybe a little bit on the heavy side. By the end of the run, you were almost nearly red in your tires. It was a tough track. It made for great racing, it made for some good strategies, but it was a tough track. So maybe a little less tire wear next time we come here, and maybe loosen up the setup just a little bit. But other than that, no complaints. Absolutely no complaints.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Even when it comes down to like actual races and stuff, weather can play a factor in tire wear, and it's just another thing you have to figure out. And with everybody running a fixed setup, you all have to deal with the same thing. You're all given the same package. It's tire wear, no tire wear. Everybody had to figure out how to get it done.
Yep, equal playing field, and everyone had plenty of time to hop on, practice, see how the car is going to react on a full run. And we saw a lot of different strategies play out.
Very lot.
Yep. So I just invite anyone who wants to come out who has, some experience driving this game. Doesn't even have to be online, but just is able to be a clean racer and hold their line. That's all the only requirements we have here. We're not a league that turns a lot of people away. So as long as you can be a clean racer, come on out for a second segment. Points reset next week, and 8 more exciting races.
Well, we'll let you, anybody you want to thank, we'll give you that, and then we'll get Joe in up here, and then we'll chat with our champion, Greg Lovell.
Yeah, for sure. I'll make it pretty quick. I just want to thank the modders who come out here and do everything they can for the community. You know, Safer Barrier Project track we ran tonight. It's an old but gold, I like to say. It's a good track.
Yep.
The DMR crew putting up the Cup 12 mod, one of the best mods out there. It's still holding test of time. Great nostalgic feeling. Keith Bynum, he's been a great help with help keeping my league afloat. Getting most of the guys that have come to race tonight are from the PRL league originally, and it's just been great having that kind of support. So shout out to Keith specifically for his help with the server and getting drivers out here. So, and of course NASCAR 2003 keeps chugging along.
Well, there you go. There's your second place finisher tonight, Toby Irwinson, the owner and guys. And like you said, this a free game. You want to come in and do it. I'd even be willing to bet you that if you struggle a little bit, these guys will help you.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, and Tarnation TV, can't forget them. So can't forget you guys.
Of course you
doing
can't
it.
forget us.
Right? How can I forget? You're just in the booth for over an hour and a half talking nonstop, no breaks.
We won't let you forget.
I'll tell you, I'd rather do it that way, Toby, than have cautions. I mean,
That's right.
That's the thing, yeah. You literally did like 107 laps in like 55 minutes. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, boys.
Right,
Thanks, Toby.
Toby. So, tonight's winner, Jovan Anderson. As I said before, love racing against this guy because he makes you better. Great race tonight, Jovan.
Thanks, Rod. I am wore out.
I bet.
That was a lot of fun, though. I'm agree. Full flag to flag race. I really enjoyed the heck out of that.
It's strategy, left and right, up, down, everywhere. The guys, Denny Carroll and some of the other guys short pitted on you. They got ahead of you. And then, of course, when you come back out with fresh tires, when you went through it, you and Toby were out there more or less trying to fight for the lead. The third and fourth place guy were more fighting for a championship. They were all coasting and clutching, and it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, me and Toby were playing a lot of cat and mouse there. I gained a bunch of time on him. I think it was on the first green flag stop, and then for I think the next two or three runs, we were pretty much holding about the same gap after that, in between I want to say like 5 and 7 seconds or so. So he had a really good run also, and it was definitely interesting there after the final stop. I was hoping I had enough tires still to stay ahead of him, so thankfully I did.
I got a question for you. I was going to say, I got a question for you. Yeah, I was reading, I was just looking at the stats here, actually. You've never raced in this league before.
I have a couple times.
Have you? Because I don't see your name on the points standing.
Well, he was there for like some of the exhibition races, and
oh, okay.
I ran the exhibition races, and then I want to say I ran Vegas and Texas last week. That was a really fun race as well. I wish y'all could have seen that one.
Interesting, because I don't see on the points graph. I don't see. Oh, there you are. Sorry, Ricky J.
I came in with the wrong name. I think.
Yeah,
is what happened there, and I never exited back out to get on the correct name.
Yeah, you're on there as Ricky J. I forgot about that, number 93. Sorry, that was me.
Yes. Oh no, you're fine, man. No worries.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I know you've been here because we've called the races and your name's always popping up. But yeah, man, Dom, like that's like you said, that's got to be fatiguing, man. Leading, what was it, 86 laps tonight? The amount of concentration, like I can't be that consistent. I would just think about something wrong and just slide up and hit the wall. Like you're just on rails, dude.
He's smooth.
Yeah, that's the key, and it makes a huge difference. Is just finding a rhythm, and sticking to that rhythm. This track is very similar to the way I drive it. I basically drive this track like I do the game track. And the only difference is that this track is a little bit grippier, but it has similar tire wear. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing, and I think that worked in my favor a lot.
Even
well,
hit
guys.
I was gonna say with the pit strategy too. Like we were trying to kind of figure out with all the green, the whole thing went green from front to back. Everybody's coming in different times. Everybody's spread out, different amounts of fuel, different tire wear, different strategies. Guys are short pitting. You seem to be taking it right to the end of that. The at least the initial pit stops. Anyway, you were kind of draining that tank, using up all your tires.
Yeah, for the most part, it's usually when the race starts, I always look right away to see and do the quick math in my head. All right, how many stops would it take if this were to theoretically go green? How many laps do I need to go each run to make it to the end? And it was like 22, 44, 66, 88, all the way to 107. So I figured it was going to be a four-stopper. When I saw a bunch of those guys pit early, I'm just like, all right, have at it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. A lot of different strategies going on. I mean, every driver had vastly different strategies, and teammates were sticking together, teammates weren't sticking together. We couldn't keep track of all of it. We were trying to figure out where to look, But the one constant was you were usually in the lead, although you did share the lead with. Total lead changes tonight was 11 with 6 drivers included, so at least 6 guys got a taste at the front. So
yeah, Denny Carroll got quite far out ahead of me a few times. He short pitted me by at least a couple laps there, and so he would get way out ahead of me, and then of course with it being 3x, the huge tire difference, I would run it back down, and then he pit again, and then we kind of repeated that cycle 2 or 3 different times there, and then I think he had a slower pit stop there. I don't know if it was the last green flag stop or the one before that, and that allowed me to stay ahead of him after that, I think. But it was great all around. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch.
Short pitting guys actually had one more pit stop than you did. That's what kind of took them out at the end as far as like being on the lead lap. But they also were out there with fresher tires. But catching you, passing you, and then going a complete lap around to try to catch you again. That's not going to happen.
No, this is one of those scenarios where, so when you get up to 3 or 4x, everything happens so quickly too. Yep. Like not just having the pit, really, really, really quickly, but like if you like physically try to push the tires for more than one lap, you're done.
Yep.
Like you have to run a conservative pace pretty much the entire time until like literally the last 2 or 3 laps in the run. Just to ensure that you're getting everything out of it you can without risking giving something up. So I think that was the key tonight.
If you have nothing left to ask in there, Blaine, we'll let him thank his sponsors and the people, and we'll get our champion down here, tonight's 3rd place finisher, Greg Lowell.
Yeah, let it rip, man. The floor is yours.
So I say thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to watching it back and seeing everything unfold again, like I was watching it live. It was really wild. I just want to say thank you to Toby and anybody that helps Toby here over at the Moboil 10 Cup Series for putting on this league and these events. It's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed him putting on this product. Definitely recommend it to other people to come and try it out here on Tuesday nights. Just want to say shout out to all my boys back home at Bomb Squad Racing, BSR, Brian and Kathy Boyles from Boyles Truck and Magoo, and all the guys over there, all my brothers. Hope y'all are watching and you enjoyed as well, and looking forward to racing on Thursday. And thank you guys again.
Thank you, Joven.
What up, Blaine?
So tonight's 3rd place finisher,
However,
but the short series champion,
segment
Greg
1A.
Lovell.
Yeah, I was talking to Mr. Toby up there about the tracks, and I'm not a big fan of the SBP tracks and the gripped up stuff, but I'm a game track kind of person myself. I kind of struggle on the tracks that are just gripped up a little bit too much.
Although I want to know how your clutch foot's doing.
Oh my God!
You use that. You were in a severe fuel saving mode at that on that last run?
Well, the last time when I went in the pit, time before last,
We saw it.
I was like, because you get 24 laps of fuel, I believe.
That's pushing it. But yeah, you could do 25
Yeah.
if you really, really pushed it.
Yeah, and I was like, well, if I clutch this whole run, and I clutch the next whole run, I won't have to pit again,
Right.
and I'll finish in front of, them guys that they pitted with 30 some laps to go, and I was like 33 to go, and I was like, well, they can't make it, so if I could stay out here and clutch, for 2 runs. I was a lap short when I come out after that last pit stop. I was a lap shy, and I clutched for about 7 laps, and I'd be about 3/4 of a lap short. Then I'd pit about 7 more laps. I would be about a half a lap short, and then I really started holding the button in when my tire started wearing out. I started really holding it in longer. And it finally balanced that at the line, 8 and 8, 7 and 7, 6 and 6. And but I still kept clutching, even though it balanced out. I still kept clutching.
Yeah, you'll see in the broadcast when you rewatch it that I was talking about that a lot. You were severely clutching.
And then he asked me, he said, "You didn't race half the race?" I said, "Well, I raced half the race, but when I went in on that pit stop before the last one, I noticed if I clutched, I can make it on 1 stop. So, I mean, who wouldn't do it? If you're good at doing it, if you're good at clutching, and I've done it a lot, I know how to do it. Why not do it?"
Oh yeah, well, it's what you had to do. It was just the proper strategy for you to do tonight to become the first short series champion. So I mean, apologies for you. We saw you doing it, but you had to do. That's what won you the championship.
Yep, Didi finished right behind me. If I hadn't have done what I done, he would have probably finished about 4 spots in front of me. Because I would have had to pit.
He started off short pitting you early off, and then he kind of had you, and then when you started doing that, he was ahead of you. Had you pitted that last time, because you had to, even if you wouldn't have won the championship. I mean, because he was right there behind you. So it was the proper strategy tonight to get you the championship.
Yeah, and I knew that. I knew he was 4 points behind me. And if he finished in front of me, plus he led laps, I knew if he finished in front of me, I was in trouble. So I did what I had to do.
Yeah, no, I think you did a great job tonight. Man, that car is absolutely. I like that car. It looks very good.
That's Toby. Toby painted that.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow, yeah, because you always use Frank.
Not Toby. Rodney. Excuse me.
Oh, Sullins?
Yeah, Rodney painted me.
He painted me up one for what racing I do on Monday. Oh, I gave him an idea and I said, "Here's what I want. Have fun, run with it." Oh my God, the car is so incredible. The guy is very talented.
Yeah, he said, "What do you want?" I said, "Just paint me, a Havoline car, or Havoline, or whatever." And he painted it and sent it to me, and I was like, "Man, it looks good on the track too."
Oh yeah,
that red and yellow, it just looks good on the track.
It looks very good. I kind of was going through the field there. When I go at the beginning of the race during practice, I just go through to make sure I get everybody's car. I don't really look at them that close. And then we got down through and got to looking at it. I said to Blaine, I said, "Look at that. That 8 is sharp."
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it looks great. I was wondering with the clutching, does it affect your tire wear? Because I know this track's bad on tire.
It actually don't wear your tires as bad
Right, because you're not driving as hard.
Well, when you clutch plane, you can't go into the corner and then hold your button in to clutch. I don't use my clutch pedal. I use the button on my wheel.
Okay.
So you
I do
gotta
the same thing.
You gotta push that button about 6 car lengths before the corner. Because if you don't, it'll slide off the track on you.
It depends on the track. I was just gonna say, it depends on the track, because I'm one of the rare people that clutched a lot doing the one at Pocono, and you can clutch too late and get yourself in trouble.
You're gonna upset the car. Yeah, you gotta clutch in before you make the actual turn.
Way before.
Yeah, let the
and
car
then
settle.
You trail brake to keep it from doing some silly stuff that you don't want it to do.
Yeah, when your tires start wearing and they get slick, which I really didn't have that problem tonight because of the grip, but for some reason, and Matt was even having an issue with it if you try to use your brakes to save your tires in the corners, when you pushed your brakes, your car would just go up the track on you.
Yeah.
So you couldn't use your brakes in the corners tonight. You just couldn't. You just had to roll out and just try to save, just try to manage your tires the best you could. But I just don't. I'm not knocking Toby or his league or anything like that. Toby's a great guy, and I enjoy racing here. But I'm just not very good at those tops of tracks. I'm a game track driver. That's just what I like.
I've never been a big fan of any of the gripped up tracks.
Yeah, me neither. I think the game tracks, are I don't know really how to explain it. I guess you got to get up on the wheel and drive it. You know what I mean? You can't just.
Right, you're not relying on a track surface to kind of assist you at all. You've got to really find your line and hit your marks, and if you make a mistake, it could be a really bad deal.
The only tracks that I've actually kind of liked that are different, that are not the game tracks, are some of the VR tracks, like VR Michigan and VR Richmond. Why I like that is because, like at Richmond, it actually gives you a outside lane. Now, still better, you're still faster down at the bottom at Richmond, but I did like that one because it did give you an outside lane where normally it's just a one groove track.
I find that a lot with the Brian Ring tracks was that he wasn't really just gripping them up. He was just making sure that he's gripping up that lane a little bit so that you can have a chance to maybe go somewhere else and pass people.
Well, it makes for better side-by-side racing.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't mind the FSC tracks. Most of them are actually pretty decent. Now, Phoenix 2011, I like it. I like the Martinsville 2012. I like it.
2005.
Yeah, well, 2000. It's the SDD track.
Everybody hates Martinsville 2005 because of the bump. I love it because of that bump.
Yeah, I don't know about that track, but
it's got a bump coming off turn 4 that will upset you if you get on the throttle too soon.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think it's Pocono 2011 FSC. That's a good track.
Yep.
And Phoenix 2011 is a good track. And I mean, there's a few good ones, but Watkins Glen now, the Watkins Glen 2011 is a great track. It's way better than the game version. But as far as cookie cutter tracks and short tracks, I prefer the game tracks. If you look at Keith runs Mondays and Wednesday nights. If you look at his schedules, it's game tracks.
Yep.
And that's just what I'm used to running. I'm not used to running I used to run over it fast at Randall's, but he runs a lot of these newer 2023 tracks and stuff, and I just can't race them, man. It's just not my style of racing.
Yeah, because they're in cahoots with a lot of track builders too, and they help test all, like, you know, I think it was Chicago or something had a road course, and they're always right up on those new releases, which is awesome. Like getting the new tracks in the, but then they're still not perfect. You know, that's the thing. They haven't been out there and been used in leagues to really get that little bit of finesse, like little updates and stuff. You know, it's best to come back after them after maybe like a year or something, after they run them through the ringer and actually decide to tweak this, tweak that.
Well, I mean, you know, like the Charlotte Roval and you know, Coda track.
Yeah.
And there's a Mexican road course, a Mexico road course. It's terrible. I mean, it's just horrible. But there's some road courses I love. If Benion's not too bad, I don't mind it. What's that one?
Sears Point.
The Canadian Motorsports Park, is that
Oh,
it?
Mosport, yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
Tire, yeah.
Yeah, that one. I like that one.
I'm a big fan of Xfinity or Sears Point because it's a more of aggressive. You have to be a little bit more aggressive to it.
Yeah, I don't mind that track, but I've run it a lot. But Watkins Glen's my favorite road course.
That's a cool one.
I just like it better than the rest of them. I guess where I've just run it more. I guess.
To be smooth aggressive with that one.
But that Canadian Tire, whatever it's called, that's a really, really fun road course. No matter where you finish at, it's just fun to race on.
Well, Blaine, if you have no more, I think we, probably can end this thing up here. So we're going to give the floor to the champion of tonight's event, Mr. Greg Lovell. The floor is yours. Have fun.
Yeah, I just like to thank Toby for the series, and Toby's a good guy, man. I like him. I always have. He's a, real easygoing, level-headed person, and he runs a good series, and I want to give a shout out to Keith, and Graham for running their two series, and I want to give a shout out to my cousin Danny. He's fixing to start his Sundays back up, the Spartans series back up probably next Sunday. So I just want to give a shout out to all the PRL guys that are behind the scenes doing all the work. That's what makes it possible for us to have a good place to race. And I thank you, Blaine, and Rod, for the broadcast.
Yeah, this is a pretty good one.
Later, like I always do.
Yeah, this was definitely a fun race, man, and congratulations on your segment 1A win. And hey, there's only 40 races left.
How many races left?
40.
40.
You got a little time.
I think Toby said it's a 48 race season, but then there's 5 or 6 little mini segments to join that all together. So you won segment 1, but if you want to keep on going, they keep tallying the points up. And then once it's all over, he's got a pretty cool prize. He wouldn't reveal what it was, but it's going to be something extremely cool because this is a big, long series that it's going to last for a while. So
I hope it's a Dale Earnhardt diecast.
Yeah, it'll be something. It'll be something cool, I hope, because that's a lot of racing.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, man. I mean, it just really all depends. I mean, you can have nights where you blow up or lose fourth gear, or you just never know what can happen to you.
Yeah.
You just have to come in here and hope for the best and be smart and race around people clean and Yeah, I try to race as clean as I can. You know, that's my number one goal when I come into any server. I don't care where it's at. Is not to cause cautions.
Yeah, you don't need that attention. I'm the same way. You just try to keep it clean and let guys pass and sort of try to just disappear, be a little bit invisible.
I mean, you know, I'll race as hard as I can and go for the win if I can, but you know, I'm not going to wreck somebody just to gain a spot, or you know, if I'm if I'm third, I'm not going to bump somebody in the back just to get second place from them or something. I'm just
Yeah.
I just don't race that way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can race that way if you want, but people remember that stuff and they'll race you back same way.
A lot of people know who I am. A lot of people know me, man. I've been around since the game came out. I mean, I've raced everywhere. A lot of people knows how I race. I'm not a dirty racer.
No.
I enjoyed racing with you, that's for sure. We had a lot of good races, and I had a lot of fun racing with you when we did the Talladega night stuff.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. You gonna ever come back and race again, Rob?
I've been getting back into it a little bit here and there. We're kind of working on it. I just kind of, I needed to step away for a bit, do some other things, and kind of doing a couple nights a week.
How about you, Blaine? You been racing here?
Yeah, I was racing there with the SMO guys on Sundays.
No, was you?
Yeah, so trying to put the wheel back on the front of the desk.
That's what I should have been doing. I should have been over there racing on Sundays while the Spartan season was off for 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this community. There's no shortage of leagues. There's always a race somewhere every night of the week.
See, I know Viper. I've known Viper for 20 some years. I live right down the road from me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I used to live right beside it until about a year ago, and I moved just right down the road from him. I mean, I can leave my house and be at his house in about a minute. So I know his mom, and
oh wow,
yeah, I know. Viper
if the server's
good.
if the server's not up, I can always just text you and like, hey, run down the street and wake Viper up. Tell him to get the server going.
I'll call him. I got his phone number.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I met Jamie too, man. Jamie come in to visit Viper. It was a couple summers ago, and we went up on High Knob and went and hung out and did a few things together. Yeah, I met Jamie.
That's awesome. Jamie Tedder?
Yeah, we spent the whole day together. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. Yeah, we had fun, man.
That's awesome.
I've so far I've met Jamie. I've met Joven Anderson. Joven's been to my house twice. I actually stayed a weekend with me twice. And when Danny Hardy died, he drove all the way down from Chicago and picked me up in Virginia, and then we left my house and drove to North Carolina together. And after we went to his funeral, we went to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte on our way back to my house. So I mean, me and Joven know each other really good, man. I mean, we used to talk on the phone all the time and stuff, and it just kind of, we went away there, but we're starting to talk again. I like Joven. Joven's a good kid. But I met Brian Voles. I've met Magoo. I've met Keith McLean. I've met KJ. I actually stayed at his house when we went down at funeral.
And that was for Hardy?
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
Yep, Danny Hardy's funeral.
Yeah, I remember when he passed there last year or 2 ago now.
Yeah, Danny was a good man. It's not very hard to find people like him in this world.
And he was the setup guy, right? He used to do tons of setups.
Yeah, I got some of his setups.
Yeah, the setup guru.
You know, Danny went to church. He was, he loved God. He was, you know, him and his wife, you know, they were just good people. You know, he was just a good man.
Yeah, and he'd been around the community for so long too. Everybody knew who he was. I mean, so many people. Right? There's so many names of guys who've passed on. And it's just, you know, everybody contributed to this thing one way or the other. So.
Oh yeah, the y'all remember Jason Grant? He used to go by Cobra.
No.
He used to race over at Upton Speedway and Extreme years ago. He quit racing years ago. He was a big old guy. He used to post videos on Facebook of him and his friend and them wrestling in his backyard.
Oh.
But anyway, he passed away from a heart attack or something.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, he passed away. He was a good friend of mine too.
Wow.
Yeah, he would call me and FaceTime me. I'd call him and FaceTime him once in a while. Yeah, he was a good guy.
I always thought FaceTime was weird. I'm like, oh cool, we're looking at each other, now what?
He was just a big guy and he just wasn't healthy, man, and
yeah.
But I thought the world of him though. He was just like a laid back country boy, you know. But he was actually from Champaign, Illinois. But you wouldn't know it by talking to him.
Oh, you mean like from the accent?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just the way he was. Just his personality.
Well, you know, we've been running here a little bit long there, Greg. Well, just congratulations on you.
I
We're flirting with 11 o'clock. I should probably get to bed.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right, well, good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Have a good night, dude.
You too, buddy.
Good talking with you. Greg Lovell, your segment 1A winner in the Moboil 10 Cup Series. Segment number 2 starts up, well, next week. Only, like you said before, only 40 races to go. Toby's got his work cut out for him, man. This is going to be something else,
long
man.
season.
Monumental, I think would be the word. The monumental season.
What's great about it is, even though it's like a 78 race series, which, you know, that's a long series, and there is going to be a champion going to be crowned overall, but you'll have many little small segment series like tonight's champion Greg Lovell took, and it gives somebody, hypothetically, like you and I, if we were to decide to go in there and go play, you know, and we're not going to be able to obviously win the overall, but we can maybe go in and sneak out a couple of the you know, segment series championships, and that'll get more people coming in and play.
Yeah, and you'd be like, your name will be in that, you know, winner, like segment winners chart, you know, and then maybe they have an all-star race and you qualify for that, and all kinds of neat little stuff.
Oh, you're giving him more ideas, like the CNN.
Man. His plate's already full enough. I think Toby's he's going to pull it off. It's going to be, like I said, monumental. And I'm curious to see what the prize is. I'm interested. We
haven't forgot that prize.
Yeah. Be cool. If we find out what the prize is, we'll have to keep it a secret and somehow get it on the broadcast when they win it. But anyway, man, yeah. Thanks again for assisting in the broadcast this evening. It's always a lot of fun here at the Moboil 10.
Pretty soon we'll be doing this every Tuesday. So
yeah.
Coming up.
Maverick has us locked in. Coming up near the end of March, we'll be going with them every Tuesday night. and that'll be a lot of fun too. So lots of racing coming up on the Tarnation TV channel. So thanks, Rod, again for all your help this evening.
Absolutely.
And if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice.